They said it would save their marriage. Just 6 months apart to find themselves. 6 months later they filed for divorce. Marriage sabbaticals are being sold as the solution to struggling relationships. But here's what the data actually shows. 68% of couples who take a break never get back together. And for those who do, 85% split within 2 years. So let me ask you something. Is taking a break actually a strategy, or is it just delayed ghosting with better PR? Let's find out. First, let's define what we're talking about. A marriage sabbatical, sometimes called a trial separation or structured break, is when married couples decide to live apart for a set period. 3 months, 6 months, sometimes a year. The idea? Create space, reduce conflict, find clarity. Supposedly, absence makes the heart grow fonder. In theory, you're not breaking up. You're pressing pause, a breather, a reset button on your relationship. Therapists promote it. Self-help books recommend it. Celebrities do it. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. When researchers studied couples who took breaks, they found something disturbing. Most separations aren't strategic, they're avoidance. One researcher put it bluntly, in most cases taking a break is what people do when they don't have the courage to either fix the marriage or end it. Think about it. You're in pain. Your partner's in pain. Instead of doing the hard work of counseling, honest conversations, or making a clean decision, you choose limbo. And limbo? Limbo is torture. But maybe that sounds too harsh. Maybe for some couples, sabbaticals actually work. Let's look at a real case. Meet Sarah and Michael. Not their real names, but their story is real. Married 8 years. 2 kids. Constant fighting. Resentment building. They were weeks away from divorce. Their therapist suggested a 6-month separation with strict rules. Weekly therapy sessions, scheduled co-parenting time, no dating other people, and a commitment to decide at the end whether to reconcile or divorce. Sarah moved into an apartment 10 minutes away. Michael stayed in the house. For the first month, they barely spoke beyond logistics with the kids. But something interesting happened. Without the daily conflict, they started remembering why they fell in love. The space allowed them to work on themselves individually. Michael addressed his anger in therapy. Sarah rebuilt her identity outside of being Michael's wife. After 6 months, they reconciled. 4 years later, they're still together. So it worked, right? Yes, for them. But here's what most people miss. Sarah and Michael didn't take a break from their marriage. They took a break from their dysfunction. They didn't disappear. They didn't avoid the work. They doubled down on it. And that's the difference no one talks about. Now let's look at what usually happens. A couple is exhausted. Communication has broken down. Every conversation turns into an argument. One of them says, maybe we just need space. No plan. No rules. No timeline. Just distance. They move out. At first it feels peaceful. No tension. No conflict. No triggers. But peace without repair is not healing. Because when attachment bonds are stressed, distance doesn't create clarity. It creates detachment. And detachment is quiet. It doesn't scream. It doesn't fight. It fades. They start building separate routines. Separate emotional lives. Sometimes new relationships. And slowly the urgency to fix the marriage disappears. Not because the problems were solved, but because the connection weakened. This is why 68% never return. And the couples who do, many reunite because separation scared them. Not because the root issues were healed. And fear-based reconciliation rarely lasts. Marriage isn't just a legal contract. It's an attachment system. When you separate, your nervous system doesn't say, this is strategic growth. It says, I am losing my person. That activates survival responses. Some people chase. Some shut down. Some begin emotionally preparing for independence. And once the brain begins preparing for life alone, it adapts. Humans are incredibly adaptable. We can normalize absence. We can detach. We can move on. And once detachment sets in, returning feels unnatural. So the real question isn't whether marriage sabbaticals work. The real question is why you're taking one. Is it structured growth? Or emotional escape? If it's escape, distance will amplify disconnection. If it's structured growth, distance must be paired with accountability. Rules, therapy, clear timelines, honest conversations. Without those, a break becomes a slow drift apart. A marriage doesn't die because of space. It dies because of unresolved patterns. Resentment, communication breakdown, unmet needs, unspoken pain. A sabbatical can expose those patterns, but it cannot fix them by itself. Time apart does not heal wounds. Work does. So if someone suggests just taking a break, pause. Ask the harder question. Are we stepping away to rebuild? Or are we stepping away because we're afraid to decide? Because sometimes, a break isn't a reset button. It's a slow goodbye. And the difference between the two is intention.